All right, boys. This, we're in 2026 now. This is my outlook for. This is a recap on this year's market and my predictions and my outlook on the market for 2026. Uh, I have some notes down. So 2026 is like a year where risk assets like stocks, crypto, commodities can still do well, and I still see them being bullish. But I think that this year it's vital to have a diversification in the types of assets that you have because uncertainty this year is huge. If you have all of your eggs in one basket, let's say you're buying all only AI stocks, you're buying only the S&P 500, I do think that with the volatility and the difference in the different markets that we have today, I do think that that's going to screw you in the long run. And I think putting your eggs in different baskets this year would be very, very ideal. U.S. stocks are still the main engine overall. Research targets do put the S&P 500 higher over the next year, over 2025. As you can see, we have the S&P 500 pulled up right here. This is the yearly candles. As you can see, we're always bullish in the last 15 to 16 years. We've only had 2 years where we closed bearish. So we can see the S&P 500 is a safe bet. If we go monthly overall, while we have had some resurgence towards the downside, we're still pushing upwards. And to me, honestly, from what I see, everyone's getting richer in today's game. In today's day and age, there's always money to be made through different products, which is pushing more money into the U.S. economy. We see more immigrants coming in. We see more money being added to our economy. And for that, we see our investments going higher. We see, especially with AI and this whole like who's gonna win the AI race, we do see more money circulating around the United States, and for that reason, I'm very bullish on the S&P 500. I'm very bullish on Nasdaq. I do say, although I do prefer trading Nasdaq, as y'all know, I do say for investments overall, the S&P 500 is way better, way better. Personally, I like a VOO. As you can see, VOO has been almost 17% this past year, over 5 years, 82%. So we've really been kicking up from COVID. 6 months period, 10%. While we are not doing that good in like the last like 3 to 4 months, we're making a small resurgence. I do believe that we will be going higher. And that's really it for index wise. I do think that the S&P 500, if let's say if you have $10,000, you don't know what to put it in, I do think I wouldn't be mad if you put like $7,000 in the S&P 500 because I'm bullish on it, heavily bullish in the long term. I think that we can get 60% in the next 5 years, maybe even more, depending on how far this AI thing really, really goes. Speaking of AI, I'm very bullish on AI for AI stocks, semiconductors, data centers, power grid, networking. I have a few examples here that went crazy this year. Palantir, for example, I do think is going to do great things. Nvidia, as you see, went crazy this year. Although we did see the thing with Nvidia is there's a lot of volatility. A lot of people are trying to see Nvidia break highs and short it and make money doing that. I do think that Palantir was a really good bet. Small story. Let's go to the 5 year chart. In October of 2024, I bought Palantir. I told my dad to buy Palantir. I put maybe $100 into Palantir. In October of 2024, it's January of 2026, and I sold it at like 90, I think. And if I just held it, I would have been up a few $100. Not a lot of money, but I do think it was kind of dumb selling it. And I do think as the AI game progresses, I do think that we will say, but again, I do think that we're gonna begin 2026 with a little bit of a drop. Maybe we see bullish for like the first 2 weeks, and then we see like good discounts and everything, and then I do see us going higher again. Next, I think energy companies, EVs, anything tied to like AI is gonna go crazy this year. An example of this is a stock that I own. It's a Chinese EV company, Xpeng. I do think that Xpeng will do good. I do like Chinese vehicle EV companies. I do think that they're gonna do crazy this year. Again, to preface all this, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling y'all to buy this. I just think that Xpeng is a good stock, and I know that a lot of people have been investing into it recently. Moving on to what everyone really wants to know about gold and silver. We can look at gold right here. Remove that line. I do think gold and silver looks strong. People are becoming more focused on this than the dollar, right? The dollar's sort of losing value. A lot of people, especially like the higher ups, the richer people, don't really carry cash. A lot of people, especially immigrants, I could say this as an immigrant, tend to put their money into stuff like gold and silver, especially Indians. But they become more focused on the dollar and try to store their money in commodities. I think if we see a good dip, and I do think that we are going to see a good dip, just look at this monthly chart, right? We're seeing like little to no volatility over this like range, right? We're just simmering in this range from May of 2011 to about September of 2023. So 12 years we're simmering in this like $1,000 range, and then we just see maybe a little bit of volatility towards 2024, and then we see a little bit of a decline and just push crazy high. And this is like we basically double from May of 2025 to almost January of 2026. We essentially double our price at the peak, of course. And I do think that with jeez, my phone dropped. I do think with these sort of pushes, we are definitely going to see some sellback for sure. As you can see, we're already starting that. If we can go on like the daily chart, we're already seeing like a little bit of push towards the downside. I do think that maybe we'll fill in like, I want to say like 10% down at least. Maybe we fill in 3,500 could be ideal to buy in at. 3,700, maybe we could even push to 3,000. That would be ideal entries for gold. I still am bullish on gold long term. I just think that the surge that we had was too fast and too much for me to really catch an entry in gold. We can look at silver. Same thing with silver. We're really just like silver. It was even crazier because we were declining in value from about $49 to $21 over these like 12 to 13 years. And then we could see like in August of 2025, Jesus Christ, we shot from $29 to about $80 in peak. So 4x our return. Mainly, I think gold is a better investment. Silver, I don't know too much about it. I really know about gold, but I do think that it would be ideal investment if we could see a push below like 50, maybe 60 would be nice. Even here, like, I mean, we could Fibonacci it. Yeah, around $50 would be like a nice price. Next, crypto. Now, crypto this year I was very, very disappointed. As you know, I'm very bullish on crypto long term. I hold a lot of crypto, and I had to trim my positions in crypto this year because it's just not performing well. I think this next coming year is very, very uncertain for crypto. We're seeing a lot of like new ideas come forward with AI. So we're seeing like transactions from crypto, like even in person I'll see like you're allowed to pay with like Bitcoin or Solana. So all these like things are coming around the crypto world, but I don't see like price being affected by it. And I do think Bitcoin is the most valuable crypto. People say it's XRP, people say it's Solana on Twitter, but it's really not. Bitcoin will forever always be the one biggest crypto. And I mean, just look at the price difference. Like Solana's $125, and I'll show y'all the charts and why I feel this way. But we saw huge dips last year with Bitcoin shooting from six figures to almost like 75, 80K, then a little rebound higher. Ethereum's going from 5K to like sub 3K. Solana's down 30%. With all this, like, I think for our smaller crypto, like XRP, we could see maybe like a 2 to 3x. Solana, I could see it going to 300. And then I could even see like further bearish momentum. I could see Solana dipping below like $1.25. I could see, so I mean XRP dipping below $1.25. We could see Solana dipping below like 100. Ethereum dipping to like sub 2K, and then us seeing a resurgence. And rather than like focusing on small, high potential stocks, like, I mean, y'all have seen Wall Street bets, bro. They'll bet on anything to make like a 10, like BYND or something like that. I'm focusing on like big names this year, and names like Tesla, Google, like things that'll actually like make a difference in this AI run. Like, sure, maybe like you can. Okay, the way that I look at it is, out of like the 20 small companies that you invest in, they're all like penny stocks. One of them will create like an insane invention that'll maybe like 10 to 20x, and the rest will all like just shit the bed. Or companies like Nvidia, companies like Palantir, companies like Google will buy out these small companies that have good ideas, and that'll cause them to progress. And I'd rather bet on the big shark rather than the little fish being able to outswim the big sharks, if that makes sense. But that's really like my sentiment and how I'm coming into 2025. I mean 2026, Jesus. But I'm also not gonna really invest until like the first month is over. I just want to see little bits of dips in the S&P. I want to see like something that can sort of just make me wanna put my money in. But yeah, that's really it. Appreciate y'all boys. Y'all boy have a great one.